Jacksonville Jaguars fans, welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here. You're watching this on Saturday, December 6th, recording Friday evening, December 5th. I'm on daddy duty this weekend. Wife's out of town, so not going to be able to record in the morning, but I wanted to get out these bold predictions for y'all. We do have the final injury reports. We won't know the official game status of some of the Jaguars' key players until Sunday morning, an hour and a half before the game, an hour and a half before kickoff. Jaguars and Colts, huge divisional matchup, as we all know. We've been talking about it all week, but these two teams tied at the top of the division. Whoever wins the game will have a one-game lead in the division and the tiebreaker for the time being. The two teams play each other again in Week 17. So not the last crack that these teams will have at each other, but the Jaguars, after this game, have a much easier road than the Colts do ahead, who play a bunch of tough games to close out their 2025 campaign. Excited to get into this, bold predictions. Really appreciate y'all being here. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. You can also check out GenJag.com, pick up some new Duval gear, help support the channel, look good while doing it. Again, thank y'all so much for your support. I keep getting these messages and notifications of different people in the top 1% of viewers on the channel, and all of y'all, it really does mean the world to me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Jaguars, Colts, bold predictions. Everybody there? And for one thing, I think it's going to be a great crowd. I'm so excited that the Prowlers are back. Get to see the Prowlers in action once again. Jaguars throwback uniforms. We're going to get soaked. That's what it's looking like. I don't think that's very much of a bold prediction at this point. I will be there. But it is looking like rain all afternoon. Jaguars and Colts. And of course, it's Friday. Sunday's a long way away from a weather forecast standpoint in Jacksonville, Florida. We all know that. And this forecast keeps changing a little bit. What hasn't changed is it's supposed to rain a lot on Sunday. Earlier, a couple days ago, yesterday, it was saying more in the morning than it was in the afternoon. Now it's like game time is like 70-80% chance of rain. We'll see. I do not think it's a bold prediction, really, but it is a prediction that we are going to get soaked. And getting to the Colts, we'll start off with them. I think that Tyler Warren has a game, 75 yards and a touchdown. Not like this game where, the Jags, in games that they've really struggled defensively, they've had an opposing kind of alpha receiving target, whether that's a receiver or a tight end, go off for like 130 plus and a touchdown. I don't think it's that type of day for Tyler Warren, but I do think he makes a positive impact for the Colts. He is so talented, so tough. He's going to be a difficult assignment for sure for the Jaguars. I have Michael Pittman Jr., who we've talked about him. He generally has pretty big games against the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are going to have a plan to slow him down more than they normally do. And it's not that they're going to be specifically game planning for him. I just think that the pass coverage has really stepped up. I think Buster Brown is doing a really good job right now. And so I think that they'll be able to deal with Pittman a little bit better on the outside than they normally have done over the last several years. But I do still think he's going to find himself in the end zone for a touchdown. I think Pittman scores. He scored a lot of touchdowns against the Jaguars. He's put up a lot of yards. I think this is one of those games where I have it as a touchdown instead of a big yardage day. It could be both. You never know, but that's where I'm at with that one. I have Alec Pierce. This probably isn't too bold with a 30-plus yard grab. I just think he's the type of player that gets behind the Jaguars defense. I mean, he averages 20 yards per catch this year, so it's like saying that he's going to get a 30-yard plus grab, not a real bold prediction, but that is going to put the Colts in a position to potentially score just on that one play, basically. That's kind of how it goes with field position these days. And of course, getting to the main event, Jonathan Taylor. I have Jonathan Taylor with a touchdown and 90 yards. I don't think he breaks the 100-yard mark. I do think the Colts run the ball a lot. As I mentioned, the weather conditions are going to be calling for running the football, I think. But 90 yards and a touchdown. I think he averages about 4 to 4.5 yards per carry. So what would that put us at? 90 divided by 4.5. That would put us right at 20 carries. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that he's going to have a good game, but not a game-breaking type of game, the type of game that he had against the Falcons. I don't see that happening. Why? The Jaguars have a really good run defense, especially against opposing running backs. I think Taylor, as long as the Jaguars don't allow one of those 70, 80, 90-yard runs, I think that they're going to have a pretty workmanlike day against Jonathan Taylor and the Colts rushing attack. I don't think that the Colts have an elite run-blocking offensive line. I think it does enough for Jonathan Taylor to really kind of put the cape on more often than not. Now, over the last month, it's been less often, right? You've only seen him have one big game over the last month or so. And speaking of players struggling a little bit over the last month, Daniel Jones, he has, I believe, 7 fumbles in the last month, 4 interceptions. You want to talk about turning the football over. Danny Dimes is having a tough time back there for the Indianapolis Colts right now. I have him with 2 turnovers. And this is a guy who obviously dealing with the fractured fibula. He does not have the mobility that he normally has, and he's normally an extremely mobile quarterback. So I have him getting a couple turnovers here. The Jaguars, they're a defense that still turns the ball over at a high clip. They still force a lot of turnovers. I know that it hasn't maintained the way a lot of Jags fans had hoped from the beginning of the season, but the Jaguars are still one of those teams that knows how to get their hands on the football. And they're still right towards the top of the league in takeaways this year. They have 20 takeaways. They're top 5 in the NFL. So I have the Jaguars being able to, strip one from Daniel Jones. I think they're going to have the Jaguars more of a full complement up front on the defensive line than they have had lately. Trayvon Walker and Eric Armstead both practicing this week. They're both questionable. I think that my guess right now, based on the way this week has gone, based on the importance of this game, is that Parker Washington, Trayvon Walker, Eric Armstead, and Eric Murray all play in this game, and they do help lift the Jags. And speaking of the Jags defense and forcing turnovers, I have Josh Hines-Allen getting a sack. He's had, I think, 3 straight games against the Colts with a sack. He's been piling up the sack numbers over the last month or so. And it's so interesting, like the opposite direction these two teams have been trending in over the last month. The Jaguars have won 3 games in a row. They've won 4 out of 5. The Colts have lost 3 out of 4. I think Josh Hines-Allen is going to continue the run that he's been on as of late. And then looking at the Jaguars on offense, it's all about Trevor Lawrence. And, you want the offensive line to be able to do their job and clear some holes for Travis Etienne, Bashal Tutin and company. And the Jaguars are going to try to run the ball at times. I think they're going to need to. But I think that they're going to have to attack the Colts defense with Jacoby Myers and Britton Strange and Parker Washington if he's available, and Brian Thomas Jr. as well. And yeah, I know that this is going to be potentially not great weather. I think the Jaguars are still going to have to throw the ball, and I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be able to throw the ball pretty well. I think he's going to be able to attack this Colts defense, sans Sauce Gardner and DeForest Buckner. But I do think he's still going to turn the ball over. The Jaguars force a lot of turnovers on defense. The Colts are up there in turnovers as well. They have some guys on the back end combined with Lou Anarumo that know how to get their hands on the football. I'm going to have Trevor Lawrence with 3 total touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Another game for the Trevor Lawrence haters to be like, oh, he's turning the ball over too much. And yeah, you don't want 2 interceptions, but I think that 3 total touchdowns and a win is enough for Jags fans to get excited about, get to 9-4 on the season. That's what I expect here. Jaguars winning a tough game. I think that they have more firepower on offense right now. Again, Jacoby Myers, Britton Strange, these guys have been insanely efficient for the Jaguars. You've got your backfield that's been very good this year overall. And of course, Trevor Lawrence is feeling really comfortable throwing the ball down the field, over the middle of the field. Brian Thomas Jr. is back. That adds explosiveness, certainly. So I think the Jaguars just have some more firepower, and I think that they have more playmaking and consistency on defense right now than the Colts do. Jaguars win 27-21, and the Colts kicking game, their kicking woes hurt them in this one. I think they're going to miss a field goal. They just signed their kicker this week. Look, a hampered Daniel Jones, no Sauce Gardner, no DeForest Buckner. To me, it's too much for them to overcome. You've seen that over the last several weeks. It has been too much for the Colts to overcome. I think that's going to continue. I think that the Jaguars are going to push through against this Colts team. Their backs are against the wall. I think they know they need this game. They absolutely do. But the Jaguars, they're not trying to give out free wins. They're a tough football team. They play tough to the whistle, through the whistle, and I think their toughness is going to help them win this game, combined with, again, the fact that you look at the Colts being down their two most talented defenders, and their quarterback doesn't have his athleticism. Again, the ultimate question in this game is what we have seen over the last month real. Are the Jaguars really reaching a new level? Are the Colts really as bad as they've been? I don't think the Colts are as bad as they have been over the last month. I do think the Jaguars are reaching a new level. And I think the Jaguars, because of the way they're playing, the way the passing game is improving, and the way the team just fights and believes, and the way the coaching staff gets them prepared and focuses on the details and the way they teach, allows them to win a tough game against the Colts in Jacksonville. And I think the fans help out as well. I absolutely do. Jaguars beat the Colts in Jacksonville 27-21. Drop your predictions in the comment section below. Really appreciate y'all tuning in, supporting the channel, and y'all have a good one.